right, it's been a busy night in the NBA as there were 11 Monday games, 22 teams playing. 7 teams were on back to backs. All of them won, which is kind of incredulous. I wonder when the last time that happened was. And after all those games, James Harden was traded to the LA Clippers. I already put out a breakdown video on the James Harden trade, analyzing it for both sides. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that out as we focus on the games that were played last night. Starting off with the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat their rival, the Miami Heat, 122 to 114. It was Dame Lillard's first matchup against Miami, the team that he ultimately did not play for. Giannis had 33 points and seven rebounds, or was it 7 assists? I didn't actually notate that effectively in my notes, but 12 of 21 from the field, 8 of 11 from the line. Another good game for Giannis from the line. Obviously, that's something that's a struggle of his every year. Dame had a solid game, 25 points, 4 assists, 7 of 14 from the field, 9 of 11 from the line, bouncing back from a nightmare against Trae Young the previous game. Chris Middleton, 5 points, 5 assists, only 17 minutes. He has a heavy minutes limit at the moment, and that's probably just I'm gonna have to drop his overall rating a lot just to reflect his stature with the team. He's not really the third option with them. He's actually, with the 5 assists in only 17 minutes, he's been operating more as a playmaker with the team rather than as a scorer. I wonder if there's something else going on with him physically, as he did have knee surgery during the offseason that he obviously is not he's not fully recovered from. Checking out the Heat. I hate how it automatically switches that over. Anyway, Bam Adebayo did not play in this one. So Thomas Bryant got a start, scoring 10 points. Jimmy Butler had another quiet game, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. I wonder if he's nursing an injury of his own. He didn't play in the second night of a back-to-back previously against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Tyler Hero, he took on the scoring load in this game with the top 2 players essentially hurt or hindered. 35 points, 12 of 21 from the field, 9 of 10 from the line. Could have been inspired by the Dame matchup, as he was a frequently mentioned in rumors that they would be traded for each other. Let's head on over to the Dallas Mavericks, who moved up to 3-0 on the season, beating the Memphis Grizzlies 125 to 110. Memphis drops to 0-4 on the season. More on them in a second. Kyrie did not play in this game, so Luka had all he could eat. Triple-doubled with 35 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists, 11 of 22 from the field, 6 of 12 on threes, 7 of 10 from the line. That's the only place. Luka can only be stopped by himself at the free throw line. But really good game for him. Looks to be on pace for another MVP caliber season. Josh Green got the start for Kyrie and had 12 points, but Derrick Jones Jr. ended up being the primary beneficiary, scoring 22 points on 7 of 10 shooting, 4 of 6 on threes, probably his best game in years. He joined Dallas on a minimum level contract after barely playing for the Bulls the last couple of years. So good to see him really fitting in well with this team. He was kind of a surprise starter after preseason. And Grant Williams, he had a solid game. A really good addition to this team. Great fit. 4 of 8 on threes, 15 points. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. also picked up the scoring load in Kyrie's absence with 21 points off the bench. And you know who needs help scoring points is the Memphis Grizzlies. They dropped again to 0-4. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane had 30 points each. Marcus Smart had 23 points and 9 assists, but they only got 27 points from the rest of the team. Luke Kennard missed this one due to a concussion, and you can see obviously they are completely shorthanded. John Conchar and Xavier Tillman aren't offensive players. Derrick Rose went 0 for 4. Zaire Williams is going to be streaky, as is David Roddy. They desperately need Ja Morant back from his suspension, which is for another 21 games. One would have thought that Marcus Smart would be a reasonable stopgap for them, but he's just not enough offensively on this team. And the absence of Steven Adams, it was okay if they were going to be like a so-so offensive team, but the absence of Steven Adams has really decreased their defensive ability. So they're just middle of the pack defensively right now, 26th offensively and 15th defensively per Basketball References offensive and defensive ratings. So help can't come soon enough for the Grizzlies. They have been linked to Bismack Biyombo, who they're going to sign once they're eligible to, once they're able to move Ja Morant over to the quote-unquote suspension list. They'll have access to a hardship exception to sign Biyombo, and hopefully he can replicate some of what Steven Adams was doing on the defensive end. Let's go over to the Golden State Warriors, who trounced the New Orleans Pelicans 130 to 102. Woof. Warriors were on a back-to-back, but Steph Curry, he don't give a fuck. 42 points, 15 to 22 from the field, 7 to 13 on threes. Just an insane start to the year for him, averaging 34 points on 76 true shooting on 32 usage. Oh my god. Right now, looking like he might replicate some of his best offensive seasons. The 2016, probably his best offensive season overall, with a 30 points on 50% shooting, 45 from the line, and 91 from the free throw line. Yeah, he's going to give that a run for its money, I think. Klay Thompson didn't play in this game, probably because it was a back-to-back. So Moses Moody, he got the start and had 13 points. Draymond Green, he started again, his second game back from injury, 6.7 assists. Only 22 minutes, so he's on a bit of a minutes limit as he ramps up, but Chris Paul was solid off the bench. His second career game off the bench, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in 25 minutes. And that's great. You know, they're 2-point guards combined for 55 points, 42 of that for Curry, but, you know, oh my God. Paul also running the second unit. Kuminga was a DNP in this game, so Trace Jackson Davis, he got additional playing time, 13 points and 9 rebounds in 20 minutes. And then Brandon Podziemski, he also got additional minutes with Klay sidelined and Moody entering the lineup. He had 5 points and 8 rebounds in 23 minutes. The Pelicans, despite going up against the short-handed Warriors, they were also short-handed themselves, missing Brandon Ingram. Zion had a subpar game, 19 points, 5 turnovers. CJ McCollum had 19 points, 6 rebounds, and then Jordan Hawkins, he started for Ingram and had 14 points in 35 minutes. Solid game overall for those guys, but it just wasn't enough to combat the Curry Inferno. Let's check out the Boston Celtics, who blew out the Washington Wizards 126 to 107. Revenge game for Kristaps Porzingis against the team he played for last year, the Washington Wizards. He had 15 points, 7 of 9 shooting, but most of the damage was done by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Tatum with 33 on 14 to 21 shooting, 4 of 9 on threes, and Jaylen Brown led them with 36 on 13 to 24 shooting, 8 of 13 on threes. Not quite his career high on threes made. That's 10, but one of the best shooting performances of his career, certainly. And let's head on over to the Washington. They were without Daniel Gafford in this one, so Kyle Kuzma was the starting center in, I guess what was kind of a joke game. Bilal Coulibaly, he got the start for Gafford. Kuzma, for what it's worth, did have 21 points on 9 of 15 shooting. Coulibaly had 9 and 5, 2 blocks, 4 of 12 shooting. He's not really ready for starting level minutes yet. And Jordan Poole, he had only 11 points against the Boston backcourt. Eugene Omoruyi probably had the most noteworthy line for the Wizards, which probably says a lot about them as a team. He had 14 points, 5 of 5 from the field, doing all of that in garbage time, but he is on the short list of players who might be able to earn a standard contract throughout the year. Probably could have made an argument for one. The two roster spots are so hard to come by in the NBA, and you just need to find the right fit. But certainly, I think he's a better player than Patrick Baldwin Jr. and some of the other guys they have on this roster. I guess worth noting that Johnny Davis returned from an injury to make his season debut, for what it's worth. Heading over to the Brooklyn Nets, 133 to 121, they beat the Charlotte Hornets. First win of the year for the Nets, still without Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton. So Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Thomas got the start. I believe Royce O'Neal started rather than Cam Thomas in the last one, but Cam Thomas got the start. He's been averaging 30-something points to start the year, and he replicated that again. Cam Thomas, 33 points, 10 of 17 from the field, 12 of 14 from the line. I released a breakdown video on his ratings and badges yesterday. Be sure to check that out, as I do have 18 badges on Cam Thomas, and they're not just bronzes, they are very high in quality to reflect the quality of scorer that he clearly is off the dribble. I have him at an 81 overall, whereas 2K's got him at a 76. Massively underrated in their roster, somebody who definitely needs to go up in rating. So be sure to check out that breakdown if any of that interests you. Mikal Bridges otherwise had 24 points. Finney Smith, 19. Simmons had a solid game, 11 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. He looks very content to just fill kind of Russell Westbrook's new role with the Clippers, where he's, not shooting at all. He's just getting guys into his spots and playing defense. He was essentially even though he started at the 1, he's essentially the starting center defensively on this team, as Finney Smith, obviously, they're just very small. And Spencer Dinwiddie, he only scored 5 points and played 12 minutes. He sprained his ankle and did not return. So hopefully he doesn't have to miss too much time. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, he started the second half for Dinwiddie and ended the game with 19 points. So I imagine he would enter the starting lineup if Dinwiddie had to miss time, or maybe Cam Thomas just becomes the full-time starter, depending on what the outline on the return for Cam Johnson or Nick Claxton is. Let's head on over to the Hornets. Nightmare game for LaMelo Ball, 8 points, 8 assists, but 3 of 12 from the field, 6 fouls in 22 minutes. I didn't see who he was guarding. Probably Cam Thomas, if Cam Thomas took 14 free throws. But as a result of that, Terry Rozier had to play a heavier load, scoring 23 points, playing 40 minutes in this one, as he is the backup to LaMelo. Brandon Miller chipped in 22 points off the bench, probably filling in some of the scoring load with LaMelo only playing half the game. Mark Williams, he was able to abuse the very small Brooklyn front line, scoring 18 points on 8 of 8 from the field. And PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward chipped in 15 points each. And worth noting, James Bouknight had his 4th-year option declined. Today is the deadline for those. He's probably the only one getting their option declined. The only other candidate I would say would be Jaden Springer of the 76ers. Bouknight was going to make $6 million in his 4th year, and he just hasn't been able to establish himself in his career with the Hornets, only averaging 5 points for his career. Hasn't really been able to stay healthy either. Has shot dreadfully, 35%, 32% from 3 for his career. At $6 million, no way. He's a minimum contract player at best, maybe even a two-way player. So that one was kind of a no-brainer. We'll see what the Sixers do with Springer. Let's go over to the Blazers, who beat the Toronto Raptors 99-91. Blazers get their first win of the year. They are without Anthony Simons for the next 46 weeks. Scoot Henderson, I dropped his overall rating by 6 points in my roster. 2K's got him at a 78. Based on my draft scouting via Hoop Intellect's video and like the stats that he put up in the G League last year, I had him at an 83. And while I think he's going to end the year at that rating right now, it's just been a really, really rough go. Really struggling. Entering last night's game, negative 2.0 player efficiency rating. Woof. 7 points per game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 36 true shooting, 21 usage rate. Breaking down some of his shooting stats: 6 of 12 on layups, 1 for 2 on dunks, 3 for 5 on close shots, 0 for 1 on mid-range, and then 1 for 12 on threes. He went 0 for 6 in this game, so he's now 1 for 18 on threes to start the year. So probably got to drop that 3-ball rating even further. Only 1 for 1 on free throws. I didn't see if he took a free throw in this one, but 1 free throw attempt in 3 games, so a really low foul draw rate, and then only a 15% assist rate, which is below average for like a shooting guard, much less a point guard. So I dropped a number of his ratings as a result of his struggle. Where are they? So offensive consistency is a minus 30. Draw foul is a minus 20, as again, he's only taken one free throw attempt through his first 3 games. His dunk rating, I dropped by 10 points. 2K's got this at a 94. Nope. He looks good when he does it, but he's not dunking in any sort of volume. Again, one dunk through 3 games, 75 is totally fine. Minus 10 to the dunk, minus 10 for his pass vision, his pass IQ, and his minus 5 to his pass accuracy, minus 10 to his hands rating, minus 10 to his shot IQ rating, got that down at a 60. Defensive consistency, I dropped by 10 to a 50, so 50 in both consistency ratings, and then a minus 5 for his layup rating, his mid-range, and his 3-ball. The 3-ball probably can just become a minus 10. I'll do that now. And yeah, I also I decreased the quality of Dimer, and I removed Midi Magician from him. I got Dimer now at bronze, as I do anticipate, again, it's only 3 games. It's probably going to go up back to a bronze level, but I had started this off at a silver. I do like the rest of his badges, as a lot of them are not really like stats based or anything. He's got this ability. This is all why he was drafted as highly as he was. But right now the results aren't there, so it definitely makes sense to drop a bunch of his ratings. Malcolm Brogdon essentially is the best player on this team. But just to finish off Scoot's line, 11 points, 7 assists, 4 of 12 from the field, over 6 on threes. As mentioned, he fouled out in 34 minutes. So it would not. I didn't get to watch this game. It would not surprise me if Malcolm Brogdon was the catalyst that allowed the Blazers to actually win a game, as he had 21 points and 5 assists off the bench. Now that James Harden's been traded, he moves up he becomes one of the top trade targets for teams. So yeah, I would consider him maybe. I highly doubt he's going to make it past the trade deadline, but I don't think he's going to get traded right away. Definitely going to use his mentorship for Scoot until a team just blows, unless a team just blows Portland away with an offer. But I don't think there's any team that's really out there with an obvious need at the moment. So Brogdon's going to continue to cook for a lottery team, which is kind of where he was with the Pacers. Jeremy Grant, he has been off to a slow start this year, but he had 22 points in this one. The veterans on this team essentially carrying the team to victory. Shaedon Sharpe chipped in 14 points. He's going to be the starting 2 guard with Simon sidelined. And then DeAndre Ayton, he had a career-high 23 rebounds in this game, also chipping in 10 points. Only 10 points, not great, especially since you would hope that he would be one of the offensive catalysts, especially with Simons now sidelined. But hey, 23 rebounds. You know, he's doing the little things defensively that helped give this team a win. And the Raptors, oh man, not great for them to lose to the Blazers. Scotty Barnes had 20 points and 12 rebounds. Pascal Siakam, he had 20 points and 6 rebounds, and it looks like Barnes is taking the reins from Siakam. Barnes has played better than him so far, so I would anticipate that Barnes' rating, I've got him at an 81. That's probably going to move up to like an 85. And then Siakam, he'd probably drop down to an 85 once we get around to him. Dennis Schroeder, for what it's worth, has been solid this year. 10 points, 8 assists, upping his assist rate from what it's been the past couple of years. I'd probably get him up to a 79 once I dive into his ratings. Let's go on over to the Lakers, who, again, they were on a back-to-back, but were able to get the win. They were on a back-to-back and played an overtime game last night, so it would have been totally reasonable for LeBron or AD to miss the game due to rest, but maybe the player participation policy preventing that a little bit. Davis, 26 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. LeBron, quieter game than usual, but again, they were on a back-to-back. 19 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. He is age 38 as well, so totally reasonable. D'Angelo Russell picked up the scoring load for LeBron, and it looks like he's taking the third best player mantle from Austin Reeves. Russell had 28 points and 8 assists on 10 of 14 shooting in this one, whereas Reeves, he had 11 points. He's been pretty quiet to start the year, so I would probably invert their overall ratings once I get around to it. The Orlando Magic, 6 Magic players in double figures. Nobody really taking a step forward on this team, though. Kind of a boring team to analyze. They need to consolidate some of these guys for a star, I think. Gary Harris led the team with 17 points, which kind of tells you all you need to know about the star prospects of everybody else on this team. He did really well, though. 6 for 6 from the field, 5 of 5 on threes. He should honestly be starting over Jalen Suggs. They're just giving Suggs like development minutes. He's not really doing anything with them. Just put the 3 and D guy in the lineup and let the rest of the starters thrive. That's how I'd be doing it. Let's go over to the Bulls, who beat the Pacers 112 to 105. Zach LaVine had 51 points in his last game, 23 in this one on 6 of 17 shooting, making up for it though with 10 of 11 from the free throw line. DeMar DeRozan likewise struggled from the field, 6 of 19 shooting, but also shot 8 of 8 from the free throw line to finish with 20 points. And Nikola Vucevic, 24 points and 17 rebounds. When those 3 guys play well together and score a lot of points, the Bulls are probably going to win games. It's when only 2 out of 3 do well. They kind of don't have much else offensively to keep up with most teams. And the Pacers, they got some standard games out of Miles Turner and Tyrese Halliburton. 20 points and 11 rebounds for Turner, 19 points and 13 assists for Halliburton. Otherwise, nothing really else to write home about. Halliburton's probably going to lead the league again in assist rate. Let's go over to the Atlanta Hawks, who upset the Wolves 127 to 113. Hawks also were on a back-to-back, but that did not stop DeJounte Murray from taking over down the stretch. 41 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 17 of 24 shooting, 3 of 5 on threes. Trae Young still struggling. Hasn't had a huge game like that, like the Murray game yet, but he had 24 points and 8 assists. He's been solid so far. DeAndre Hunter had 16 points, and then Jalen Johnson got his second consecutive start, finishing with 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting. I anticipate that he's probably going to be the starter long term, unless they just wanted him to start against, Karl Towns is a big versus, and they started Johnson against Giannis in the previous game. So this could just be matchups based still, but Sadiq Bey, for what it's worth, didn't take the demotion he took the demotion in stride again and had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 on threes. So, these guys are going to be in a position battle throughout the year. Probably need to get Johnson's rating up if he is going to be in the starting lineup, at least higher than Adrian Griffin, maybe to like a 77-ish rating. I definitely don't think that he should be rated close to Bruno Fernando, but that's more that 2K's got Fernando rated high, and I haven't gotten around to a lot of the lower level players in my roster as of yet. Let's go over to the Wolves. Anthony Edwards, he had 31 points and 7 assists to lead the team, but kind of quiet night for everybody else. Karl Towns, 16 and 10. Rudy Gobert, 14 and 13. And Jaden McDaniels returned from injury, 12 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker back to the bench. Let's check out the Thunder, who beat the Pistons 124 to 112. Thunder also were on a back-to-back and got the win. Shea bounced back from a subpar first game of that back-to-back. 2 of 16 shooting in the last game. This time, 11 of 23 shooting, 9 of 9 from the line. Good for 32 points and 9 rebounds. Josh Giddey also bounced back. 21 points, 9 of 18 from the field. His best game of the year. Jalen Williams, 19, 7, and 6. I think that's probably his best game of the year. And then Chet Holmgren had 14 points and 4 blocks. I did boost his overall rating to an 80. He was at 77 before. That's not based on his play this season. That's based on where I had him coming out of the draft. I haven't gotten the chance to really analyze what Holmgren's done really different to distinguish him from what the rating I got at him right now is, but I think 80 is pretty solid for what he's doing. He's a great shot blocker, and he stretches the floor offensively. Not doing much in the post, but the Thunder don't really utilize post-ups anyway, so that's totally fine. And then the Detroit Pistons, Jalen Duren, I did boost his. Well, I didn't boost his rating. His rating didn't change yet, but I did boost a few of his attributes based on his play this year. Duren entering this game had a 5.9 block percentage, was up plus 2.6% from last year. 20.6 offensive rebound percentage, which is plus 5.9, number one in the NBA, and then an 18.9 assist percentage, which is plus 12. So his assists are up 200% from the last season. So I gave him plus 5 to his block rating, pass vision, pass IQ, pass accuracy, offensive consistency, and defensive consistency. None of that improved his overall rating, but we're making steps in the right direction. For what it's worth, Duren in this game had his worst game of the year, 8.7 rebounds, which is why I don't go nuts on improvements on players to start the year. He's still, we still have a low sample size, only 116 minutes for him, I believe. But again, he has been playing much better than he did in his rookie year. Cade, 17 points, 5 assists, 5 of 15 shooting, 7 turnovers, so kind of subpar game for him. Asar Thompson, I need to get around to rating him because he's, again, just one of the more interesting players, or has one of the most interesting lines every night. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks at the small forward position. Jaden Ivey chipped in 20 points in 19 minutes off the bench, just to solidify that he is the best point guard on this team, even though he is not in the starting lineup. Killian Hayes still continues to start while Monte Morris is sidelined with injury. Let's head on over to the Denver Nuggets, who, hey, you guessed it, they were on a back-to-back too, and they were able to beat the Utah Jazz 110-102, moving to 4-0 on the season. Joker with another triple-double, 27, 10, and 11, 12 of 16 shooting. Aaron Gordon, 21 points on 10 of 12 shooting. Jamal Murray, 18 points, 14 assists. Higher assist rate than last year, so I'll probably end up boosting that, as I mentioned every single time. Joker's going for his third MVP in 4 years, and they're looking to repeat as champs. And Jamal Murray is looking for his all-star appearance of his career. Otherwise, we know who the Nuggets are, so let's head on over to the Jazz. Lauri Markkanen, 27, 14, and 5. 5 assists. Feels like it would be his career high, but it's probably not. I didn't check that, though. Walker Kessler, 22 points, 13 rebounds, 10 of 11 shooting. Joker's not the greatest defensive player in the world, but certainly the Jazz were not able to muster enough offensively to keep pace with Denver in this one, as Jordan Clarkson struggled with 4 points on 2 of 10 shooting. THT chipped in 16 points and 8 assists, while John Collins, he's been okay. 15 points and 9 rebounds, 1 of 3 on threes. Just not enough of a three-point shooter. He's shooting it better than he did last year, but still, even if I boost him to a 77 three-point rating, that's not good enough for what the Utah Jazz really need out of him in that secondary big man role. And oh shoot, we broke down all the teams. Wow, flew through that. So again, be sure to check out the James Harden trade analysis, as well as the breakdown video that I did for Cam Thomas. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tonight as I break down the games for Tuesday. Peace out. Have a great one.